It is the fact that either human beings were a mistake or we are a pain in the neck to God and should be abolished. You're all familiar with that, those of you my age. You're familiar with what it means to have thoughts in world places about abolishing the human race. Right? We were all taught what happens when an atomic bomb drops. Where do we go? Under the desk. That's where you went. You went under the desk if you were in school, because that would save you. Some of you spent some time perhaps digging a hole in the ground and lining it with lead shielding and putting water, which if it's still there is 50 or 60 years old, it ought to be quite tasty by this time. But you see, there are philosophies of belief and faith in which human beings are not critical to the enterprise of living. And it is precisely that which was rejected by God when He created the world and when He shaped Israel and when He sent Jesus to shape us into colonies of faith. And that is what we are. Colonies of faith who take our stand. And by golly, you take your stand and don't screw around with it. You're happy the world is here because God created it. You're happy that you're here because you were created for it. And you're going to love it into existence at every moment of your own life. That is your calling and mine. And if there's anything you glean out of this story of Genesis, it's precisely that God created as a parent for the sake of His love for you and your families and the future. And that He has planted us here as colonies to see to it that we continue to pray the world into existence and into being, despite the best efforts of the other pantheons of gods and goddesses that influence and infect our lives and world, and try somehow to kill it off. That's not you, and it's not me. We have a different calling and a different sense. Buechner said it very, very lovely and very, very well. That while we may not, in fact, be the best parent, and may in fact want to run away sometimes, and may in fact have our moments where we're angry all the time at our kids for not doing what we want them to do, nonetheless, our calling is to hang in and hang tough, and to invite those who have become prodigal to re-enter our lives in some new ways. It's a big cosmos we live in, a big world, a big future, and I'm hearing a cell phone going. That was your commercial break. All right, AT&T is on sale. Well, the final thing that happens in the creation story, and it's really important, because it's something we don't do enough of. When do you take a break from life? When do you take a time out? The last time I said take a time out, I think was when my kids were in preschool. Take a time out. Get out of my sight, get to your time out. And I was saying it as much to myself as to them. But that's precisely what God does after the creation. He takes a time out so He can look and see and be pleased and reflect on the future and reflect on the goodness which He has created. And that is precisely the invitation into which you and I have been called and invited. To take a look around. Check out everybody's body type. Check everybody's personality out, as wacky as some of us are. And just enjoy the wonderful giftedness which is there. But in order to do that, you got to take a time out. So you can slow your brain, your body, and your mind enough to appreciate all of the gifts with which we've been surrounded. Amen.
Amen.